Welcome back once again to a wild and crazy comments section of a haphazard recording. As we all know, life is a series of comparative analysis. And the opinions are based on observations, yet observations can be seen as opinions as well. And so to hop right into it, we're looking at the Enigma machine, and that was fairly conspiratorial on how the government tends to cover things up. I personally like to go through some of these comments. Martin Liedtke puts out one day ago, very much enjoyed this today, Lance. Thanks, you tickle me mate. And please, you dig the links. 15,000 Vatican Library releases available through our resources page. Made many books and thousands of pics. And thank you, Mr. Liedtke. I greatly appreciate this. So I hope you enjoy this. Little fat, creepy, phony sprogs are called Cherubaginskis and not chubbies. But thank you for that, Martin. Peace and love to you, mate, and peace and love to you as well. And go ahead. And this is the link that Martin Liedtke had set me up with, and it's a great page. It's going to jump around a little bit for those who get a little freaky deaky, and it's got quick links here and donations, think tank, Twitter, Facebook. He's got videos here, different topics here: mud flood, comets, Tartaria, airships, etc., maps, resources. Let's pop into resources briefly and take a quick look at the resources information. There are a variety of books. The New Madrid Earthquake, which I'm always interested in. I will be interviewing a Phoenician sort of a guy. You may have seen some of the pictures of his shop that I showed. A little of this, and this is his shop, and these are some of the things in his shop. And he's a super nice guy. I'm going to go over there and interview with him. And this is one of the pages, or I'm sorry, books that show. I'm just briefly popping in, taking a quick look and preview. I like to look at the overall pages, and just because I'm a real picture person, I like to look at the pretty pictures. And yeah, kind of go through the and Phoenician origin of Brits and Scots. Yeah, this is some interesting stuff. And so we're going to go through natural magic. Interesting, fascinating, Captain. And all right, now this page finally opened up, and I will take a quick look at this. Yeah, natural magic, interesting indeed. And with anything in dealing with this magic, which I've studied intently and intensely and done a lot of experimentation in the past when I was a little boy. And what has given me evidence is the evidence itself, and that's important. I'm very much a scientist. I need proof. I need evidence. And I'm not going just for the, somebody told me, so now it's true sort of thing. I need to see the evidence myself. Second book, Natural Magic. Let's just get into a touch of this, the literacy of it all, and of the generation of animals. And here I'm just looking at what the showing of living creatures, diverse kinds may be mingled and coupled together, that from them new and yet profitable kinds of living creatures may be generated. Sounds like mixing DNA and genetics, sort of a thing. However, there are a lot of mixtures here that are working with the air. Let's just zoom in a little bit and see how accurate this stuff is. I consider myself to have a fairly intense grasp on this sort of thing, only because of all of the evidence that I have accumulated for myself, and that is mine and mine alone to hold. Bees are generated of an ox. Looks like a very large amount of information to boggle and baffle the mind, and give one pause and cause to ponder. For way too long, in my humble opinion, I like things I can use and work with immediately. And I want drive-through psychotherapy, drive-through psychology. I was going to open a drive-through family portrait studio. I thought that would be fun. And so here we once again have the Vatican Library. Welcome to the home of the Vatican Library. Here in the wonderful town of Vatican, of the town of Vatican. Anyway, history, library, secretariat. Oh, they have horses here. Nice. Services. Well, by golly, they got a photographic laboratory. Holy guacamole. So there is a lot to investigate here, and thank you, Martin, for sending this link. I want to go through some more of this. Now, I have Library of Congress. I have my own copyrights in the Library of Congress, and I have never found any of them. I've gone to search myself out. The Great Texas Cattle Trail. The Great Texas Cattle Trail, published in 1872. I am curious about the timelines in the 1800s, early, of course, 1800s, late 1700s. And after World War II, World War I, I apologize, after World War I. Multi-sheet series. There is a lot to go through here, and as I mentioned in the other Bible video that I had made, the amount of time that it would take to just go through that. So I'm going to put this Flat Earth British info link in my descriptions for this specific and particular video. Apologize for having to pull a bunch of the copywritten material that was labeling me as copyright. Greatly appreciated, Captain Kirk. Always a pleasure. And I want that chair back too. I want my chair back. No singing. Right. So let's get into the next part of this curious survey in dealing with some of the things that our friend Static in the Attic was talking about here. Let me just hop into that. And this is the page. I will put this, well, Static in the Attic's links in my common links anyway. And he put out this video on mud floods, comets, and volcanoes. And after watching the video, I made a comment saying, I wonder when the next melting comets are due. Melting being melting the land below them. Some say that it's January 21st of this coming year, and we can be reconvinced and retrained in a generation or two. And that's just a comment and observation of mine. And it seems like the last Shakers and Quakers were 1812 to 1814 or up to 1820 area. And I wonder if the comets, spewed, toxic stuff or crap into the air like the plague as well. So if you watch his video, you get an idea what I'm talking about or what he was covering. And I think it is a curiosity that could be, how do you say, accurately evaluated or curiously investigated, you might say. So then I finished just before the so-called government went for the slaughter and reallocations of all the lands and peoples. So I wanted to mention that, show up a little bit of this video because he goes into
people trying to figure out, even the mainstream historians, trying to piece together the past. It's not like we have a continuity of stories, and so you have different regions, different kingdoms, different whatevers that have pieces of their own story. It's just not a consistent time frame all the way through. And so when Sasha is describing everything here,
and so he's going through the timelines, and
a comet appeared in the heavens.
Some creepy images, but
deep dread in the minds of the
But the comet goes through, and this huge cloud of smoke goes through along with it. All of this putrid stuff comes raining down. And the book that he is reading from, as he covers early in the essay,
narrative of thing, or any narrative that I've heard so far on this. So this is going to be different than my other videos. This may be one you just want to put on and listen.
Yeah, this is a very good essay. He did a great job on it, part 1, and looking forward to part 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 20. And in the comments about the comets and the reactions of things when they were appearing with the black cloud and the lightning that starts fires, and it really has the sound of, of our modern day weaponry type thing, where DEW, direct energy weapons, sort of a context, in the dark clouds, all of the strange anomalies. And I'm wondering if this electromagnetic occurrence, because it says mountains liquefy and melt into the dirt, it's very curious. So I'd highly advise watching this. I'm not going to mirror it out, but really appreciated and enjoyed the information.
In the 1330s, reports of severe earthquakes and increasing drought in China and the Mediterranean region became the norm. The years 1336 to 1338 brought huge swarms of locusts from Asia across Hungary into Central Europe. They finally reached as far as the Rhine. With earthquakes, floods, locusts, and falling stars, the people of the time connected the plague not only with biblical end-time prophecies, which does not require too much imagination, but also with the 10 plagues of Egypt.
So now we're talking about the 1300s, and to put that into a time perspective, once again, here in the Haphazard Universe, we're here to investigate the curiosities and give them some consideration. And I am not going to copy Static in the Attic, but I will appreciate and give him great thanks for that. Alrighty then. And once again, the Smash Words information. Fallen Angels technology is mentioned in the Enigma. And that particular video was, as Static in the Attic says, I have a variety of issues that I need to deal with. And and so the issues that I'm working with are vast and various, and I really do enjoy looking at all of the angles and angels that come up here and there. Jane Doe mentions that the face that I bring up looks like an Indian face to me. Cheerio. And I mentioned that it looks like a bearded De Niro, a touch of Pacino. Pacino. Can't quite put my finger on it, but would probably be able to find a few like Dances with Mud Floods, or Last of the Moroccans, or A Man Called Off Course. I'm still working on it. I couldn't fit Indian into the header. Thanks, Jane. Always a pleasure. And I think it's curious that when I put these on here like this, and then what time do you actually see that? Here we have Twilly HT Mist says, LOL, my spirit animal is the clown mantis shrimp. I had no idea there were other crustaceans that are energy workers like that. That's cool. And yeah, the crab firing energy from its claw, and what can be done with our atmosphere, and it's a natural anomaly, and it is a curious one indeed. And I did get slapped with the copyright just for showing a few fractions of a second of that crab shooting energy. The BBC, here at the BBC, we like to slap copyrights on people that have nothing, charge nothing, only are out to educate and enjoy, and we want their money. So welcome to the BBC. That's the problem with the tree theory, the damned gold. And he's talking about the Devil's Tower, and whether it's a tree or a foot, as mentioned in Mud Fossil University. Captain Kirk says, LOL, peas and carrots. And it is a hairdryer. This is too funny, I'm crying. Yeah, there are a lot of funny things in there. I really enjoy looking at the Bastard 78 says, great, you are really beginning to find your feet and come out of your cave. All the best. Yeah, thanks. I'm working on my production techniques and who I can, emulate. Thanks. I'm working on my intro and kind of getting something that I feel comfortable with and fluent with and volume-wise, etc. Azad Memedov says, Shalom from Nardun. Thanks, Azad. Jacob's DNA. Space is fake, the Earth is flat. And the 666 NWO Tribe Ephraim, Jesus is Lord. Yeah, I like people to put out their information and thoughts and ideas. Thank you, Azad. And I was noticing in numerology with the 666, the 666s, if you take the satanic way of flipping things over, that would be 3 9s. And I want to get into that in a little bit. But 88 Shinto, always a pleasure. And, of course, Jane Doe and the Jane Doe channel. And I've gotten a couple out here to check out. Vitaly Goji says to check out the Mud Fossil University. I do that on a regular basis. And talking about the connection of, the physical forms. Things that I like to question, I feel like I may do it on a little over-incessant basis. And Balthazar North said, did you know about the Indonesian flood? And let's just take a quick look into that too, yes. And so in dealing with the Indonesian mud flood, this is what the commentator Balthazar North was talking about. Right here, and we're in La Parisian word as a result, and I'll just let this information sit up for a little bit and wanted to bring that up. Alright, and that is what Balthazar North was talking about. I'll leave that link in my comments as well. And it is. Now this is, apologize for jumping around, the screen jumping, and in this New World Order segregation, there was a lot of screen jumping that was mentioned by one of my great subscribers. And I really appreciate your subscriptions. It's a lot of fun to go through, and a lot of information comes up as we go through the comments, so I appreciate all of that. DN, sure good stuff. Hey DN. And yeah, the most overlooked stuff, aren't unate, not amped unate. Sorry about that, aren't, last time. White Tiger, oya, white the tiger. Alright gang, so now I'm going to get into the next part of this, minor detail. And once again, to be fair, I want to go ahead and check out the ones that I glazed by. Let's see here. C. Visalis. Sorry, C. Visalis. Thanks, sir. Hey, have you watched the Global Visions presentation about atmospheric electricity and such? I feel you would do a killer job presenting such information. And I did take a preview of this. And I have gone through a lot of this particular video, and it's a course on antennas. And he mentions that it's not possible to name all of the types of antennas. And if you consider that we are actually antennas ourselves, emitting and receiving, it is a curious essay when you take all things into consideration. I know the screen is a little flipped out, but it's Global Vision, and yeah, he apologizes for the mistakes he makes with his English, because he has a pretty thick Russian or Ukrainian accent.
How we can explain it?
and I don't want to put up the volume too much because of the copyright problems I have had. But he's making some good points. All antennas have similar principles in their design and construction, and they follow the same rules in their work as receivers and also transmitters. So thank you once again, C. Visalis, for your astute and cool comments. Appreciate it. All right, once again, welcome back to the Vatican Library with the smallest printing in the world. I'm going to take a quick look at this. Let's grin that. Now we'll take a quick look at the manuscripts in the Vatican Library from the link provided by Martin Liedtke. And now here we have a search area. And so let's just take the most simple term of search in the Vatican. Let's see if they have anything on the Bible. Strict and sheer curiosity. We have 246 results and 416 records. And let's take a look at one of the most colorful immediately. Bibliographic references. Bibliographic. Quickly, lad. This is the DVL Digivatlib. Digivatlib. Ah, this does look familiar. And it is another Bible. Let's take a look at the curious date in this Bible. Let's kind of get back to the first page. And there's the cover. And this is the first page. Looking for the date that this is produced. Just giving it a quick preview. A lot of people don't like me for some reason going through the Bible. Well, they don't like me in the first place. But in the second place, just looking at the artist's work, and of course those are halos on their heads with a little apparently gold leaf or yellowish intonation. This is a rather rough version. Let's see if there is a actual date at the bottom of this piece. And I can't really make one out here. Right, and this is one of those, I have a little difficulty with some of this type of version. The man in the tower, the woman in the tower, dropping down gifts, and this person's floating off the ground, and then of course you have this gold leafing going on. That's quite strange indeed, I say. And I do not believe I will continue on with that particular piece. Bibliographic references. All right, now let's go ahead and get into this part of it. I like the straps. This is a very Game of Thrones type elaborate book cover. I don't actually, once again, see a specific date. It would be nice if there was a actual date on these. Let's go ahead and get into a page with writing on it. Here's something. No. 613 and 13.22. 1322. Is that the idea? Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's 13. Aye, Captain, that it is. With a 2-2. Well, that makes me slightly curious indeed. But let's go ahead and get into this page now. Finally, something that we haven't seen. The man blessing the lion. You are my favorite lion, and I will pet you on the head. Oh, pet the lion. Pet the lion. Who is it? Who is petting the lion? At any rate, let's take a quick preview at the Bible. Let me first look at this. So it's apparently in Latin. And there's a Celtic priest blessing a lion. Well, the reason I said Celtic priest is because of the Celtic forum up here. But it is curious in that you have this, what is that, an altar boy back here holding a hat. I've got your hat for when you want to switch hats. It is a hat, yeah, and it's got the little tie down here. So he basically took off his hat to bless the lion, And this bearded lady up here, or, I don't know, she's sad, happy, is it a she or a he, is once again extremely curious. And the lion's like, he's cool with the whole thing. He's happy and looks pretty mellow, pretty easy going. And I ain't lying. So that's a interesting detail. And once again, these huge ornate letters. Is that an O? Or what letter? Is that an E? E. Man, it must have taken like 3 days to make that. Huh. And what's this guy up here? Once again, it looks like a mixture of human and lion. And this up, is that Genesis? Is that what that says? Well, it would be easy to say because in the beginning there was, and I don't see it here. So gives one cause and pause to ponder. They put a lot of time into that A commencement. There's commencement. Okay, a commencement. Cri dex le et latere. Really doing the repetition. Je ne sais quoi. And they got the little blue pencil thing going on. It's like a blueprint pencil. Actually, that blue is very, very blueprintish. Well, in these Bible analyses, you can really find out a lot of curious, like when you look at the overall larger pages, the way that they're laid out, and the curious lettering system. I wonder if they had lines on this. They must have used lined paper to somehow see through, to keep the lines proper and accurate. And you had some pretty curious drawings in these. Comet David plaintif Saul et Jonathan. Well, it looks like there was a complaint between David and Saul. The plaintiff was Saul. And they're working it out. Big smooch. Love ya. There are so many different strange curiosities that are written into so many of these old Bibles. And I am curious about the way that these are put together. Some of these art depictions are absolutely, in my opinion, they're atrocious, but they are part of our history. And, well, this one, for example, I haven't even seen it. I haven't looked at it. Now, there's that number again right here. That is 673. So in the year 673, we did make this beautiful piece. And just to get in a little bit closer, now we've got some Hebrew going on over here. And let's see here. That looks like Nun, Yod, Samak, and Nun. Niacin and Thiamin. Mensis Heborium. Huh. Well, it's scribbled out quite nicely. There's a Tzadi, a Yod, and a Resh. Cheer. Or Tzir. Right, so I can make out the letters Aleph, Lamed, and it looks like Gimel and Lamed. Algil. However, getting the proper pronunciations in my strange little universe are not happening, not with this. And it is curious, gang, people that actually do know and speak the language. I will leave this word or this set of words up here, right here. You have your feminine and your masculine sides. And these are names dealing with feminine and masculine. And it looks to be a numerology type situation with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And so in the ways that I know it, you've got 20 down to 21, which this would be the universe. And Yeah, one's judgment. 12 would be temperance, 11 would be justice, 10 would be the wheel of fortune, 9 would be the hermit. So this is curious. If you do read Hebrew and you've heard the words I'm saying, 7 would be the chariot, 6 the lovers, etc. And so 1 magician, 2 high priestess. And this is quite a curious array and display. The feminine and masculine sides of something. And that is in a biblical manuscript. Quite curious indeed. It seems like something that you would see in more of a Kabbalistic type manuscript. In my humble opinion, having studied both to a great extent, this is quite confusing. And Vilnius Modplaga. Yeah, you got me. So if you guys can decipher this hodgepodge, please get back to me. I'll put this page up here. And yeah, Samuel here, Deuteronomy there. You got Beth, Nun, and Daleth. Bend? Huh. Yeah, and see, these words aren't making a whole lot of sense to me. But then again, I only read a slight amount of Hebrew. I would prefer to look at the pretty pictures and this fantastic handwriting or calligraphy. What's that say? Dufa Satun. Sutton Tate. Sutton Tate? Dominum Nofili li futu gustufu blah blah blah. Dufa unsatintate. Oh, that probably means I'll see you on Saturday. Domum noficati. Don't forget the Chiquitas. And don't forget the Doritos, I think it says. And 9 out of 10 doctors recommend. There is a lot of, always, this curious detail in the amount of time, effort, and work that it took to make a single letter like this P. Hey, there's peas and carrots. Once again, there's the peas and carrots. And there's a huge amount of work on the P. There's something about the P's, gang. I guess if you look up P in the tarot, it's a tower struck by lightning. But this is, oh yeah, it's the nativity scene. And there's baby Jesus, and there's Bambi, and then yeah, that's great. Mother Mary and Joseph hanging out. He's taking a nap back here. That's good. All right. Well, I wanted to leave it at that. I wish I had more time to work out these and more fascinating details that we find in biblical essays from the Vatican. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we are going to be going through a lot more letters. Like, okay, I've covered the P's pretty well. And once again, what do we have up here? Another P with St. Michael in the center, apparently. So thanks again, gang, for joining in this short and curious essay, checking out some of these wonderful. So have a nice day, gang. Thanks, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you hopefully quite soon.